Good evening. Hello, everybody. Who are you, my lovely students? How's everything? I hope you're fine and everything is good, and I hope you're keeping safe too. Good evening, Shahnaz. Hello, Lujain. Good evening, Maria. Great. Good evening, Noor. Hello. Good evening, Jude. Hello, Huda. Great to see you guys. I'm really happy to see you again. Happy Iftar. Hello, Lujain. Good evening. So I hope you are fine and everything is good. Yeah. Okay, we don't have that good number of students. I mean, we still have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students. Just okay, no problem. We can start immediately. Just to have a review, and then we start with the reading session. So today's session is number 16. Today's session is number 16, and we are going to start with the reading section. And you remember last time we finished the listening part 1 and part 2, and we learned some vocabulary related to this listening, actually. If you remember the title was in the community, and we said community means the people living in a particular area or particular place or particular country. The people, okay? So this is community, the people living in a space, in a place. And we learned some expressions with their definitions and their meanings, and very useful expressions, and we put them into context. Now, today, we're going to start with the reading section. As you know, guys, we have before you read and after you read section. Now, I told you before you read section is like an introduction to the whole reading material. So now we have a text. We have a reading text, but before that we need to have an introduction, okay, to know what it will talk about. So look, guys, at this picture in front of you. Today's lesson is very simple and easy, so don't worry. So here we have a picture, and we're going to discuss this picture together by answering these 3 questions. We're going to answer these questions depending on this picture to try to describe that. Yeah, so if you look at the first question, guys, who are the 2 young people? What are they doing and what's their problem? So we have 2 young travelers. What are they doing and what's their problem? So what do you think, guys, if you look at the picture in front of you? Yeah. So what's the problem? What are the people doing? You can answer, yeah. So we have some kids, okay. You mean we have 2 kids again, okay. So what are they doing? What's the problem? So people don't know how to travel. Yes, Maria, good. Good, excellent, Maria. They don't know where to or how to travel. Maybe they don't know the way. Yesterday, one of them is thinking, great. Yes, so that it could be like a school trip. Okay, yes, good. They agree at some stage. Okay, good. So it means they are not sure. They are trying to guess, let's say, the way to a specific place. They don't, yes, Fatima, I don't understand what's happening. No, Fatima, not like this. As your classmates said, they don't know the direction of a place. So they use what? Look here, we have a map. Yeah, great, Huda, excellent. So we have, there is a person holding a map, excellent, and we have another person maybe holding another map. So it means they are trying to find out the direction of a place. So maybe they got lost, okay? They got lost and they need help. So they use their maps and they try to use maybe or to ask other people. Yes, no problem. We are talking about question 1 and 2 all together. So question 2, again, what are the other people in the picture doing? Yes, the same thing. So they are using the map, and yes. The first question, as you said, Lujane, we have two kids. One of them is thinking, the other one is trying to ask his father or something like this. So it means they are lost. They are lost, and they need help. So they use different things. They use a map, and maybe they ask other people. Now, if you go to the last question, number 3, does this situation ever happen to you? This is a personal question, guys. Personal question addressed to you. Does this situation or have this situation ever happened to you before, that you got lost and you need help, you want to ask for direction? So, have you experienced such a situation before? I think all of us have experienced this one before. All of us at some point, at some stage, some point in our lives, we got lost. We needed a person to help us know the direction or the way to a place. So, if you remember, guys, when you are in such situations, do you use the map, or you ask for directions, or you use both? So you use a map, or you ask for directions, or you use both. Okay, then you ask for the people. Okay, Shahnaz, Huda, you use both map and okay, Fatima, you don't use a map. You ask people, yes, Marina. So map here, you know Google Maps. So nowadays, of course, we don't need to carry this big paper in our hands. We just use our mobile phones. We use Google Maps, and it will tell us the direction. So this is what I mean by map. تمام؟ فالجوجل ماب هو حل محل انه الماب العادية. اوكي. تمام. هلا اذا ما كان في تغطية معناها بدك مشكلتك عويصة والله يا مريم. بدك تستخدمي وبس ما كان في حدا بيسألي وما في ماب، معناتها ضانا ما ضل لاقي حل. معناتها المنطقة مقطوعة عندي. Yes. So that's the point. أو يعني مغامرة. You are maybe in an adventurous place. So we need to ask some people or to use maps anyway. So هو yes. هلا أيام زمان كانوا يعتمدوا مثلا على النجوم، مثلا يطلعوا على النجوم حتى يعرفوا الدايركشن، يعملوا guessing، يحاولوا يخمنوا تخمين مثلا المكان أو هيك شيء. Yes, something like that. بس طبعا إنه في مساعدات، يعني في جوجل مابس، أو ممكن تاخذوا خريطة، بس ما خريطة عادية كثير قليل يعني. جوجل مابس بيعطيكم صار مباشرة جواب. طبعا هلا البوست مشان تسألنا إنه على الدايركشن، الاتجاهات. Yes, the same thing. Fine. So this is what the picture is telling us. فطبعا نحن إذا يعني حسب هذا النقاش اللي ناقشناه، معناها النص رح يكون عن شيء له علاقة بالdirection. Okay, so we might talk about directions, distances, for example, how to tell other people the way to their directions. So something similar to this, something related to directions and traveling, something like that. Okay, great. Now try 3 questions again. But now the difference is that these 3 questions are answered in the reading selection. So first of all, as usual, we're going to answer these questions using our own ideas first, and then we will read the text and try to see how the text will answer these questions. Okay? Does it have the same, do they agree with us, with our answers, or they have different opinions? So let's try to answer the questions, and then we can read and see and find out the answers. Let's start with the first one. Now, if I ask you guys, how do people in different places give directions? How do people in different places give directions? هلا طبعا كلمة directions نحن فينا نلفظها بطريقتين، ممكن نقول directions، ممكن نقول directions or directions, no problem. So how do they give? No, Zain, not like this. You didn't get my question. How do you give direction? I mean, just imagine if somebody came to you and asked you about the direction of a place. So how would you answer? How would you give them the direction? You got the question? So what do you do? What do you, for example, tell them? Ibrahim, why? I didn't get that, Ibrahim. What do you mean by that? Yes, Fatima, by minds, you mean? You mean Fatima, minds like that? Using like distances, you mean? So use the distance. You mean you need like to walk 2 miles, you need to walk 3 miles maybe? Yes, if I have been here before, I already know the place. You mean if you know the place, you can tell them. But if you don't know the place, you say I don't know the direction. So maybe we have different answers. By making a fire at night with that, okay. Okay, good. طيب هلا انتم حاسسكم يعني ليش انه انتم معتبرين انه نحن موجودين بصحراء وحدا جاي عم يسالكم عن الطريق؟ ليش معتبرين حالكم انه انتم بالصحراء؟ ممكن تكونوا بشارع عادي، ممكن تكونوا بنص دمشق مثلا او بنص حمص او حلب او حماة، وحدا عم يجي بيسالكم عن الطريق، ليش هيك معتبرينها كثير يعني عم تسرحوا بخيالكم وانه نحن ضعنا يا شباب نحن وشغلوا نار وما بعرف شو وانقطعت التغطية. يس خيالكم هو كان good imagination. لا أنا عم بسألكم سؤال عادي إنه نحن بالمدينة مثلا in the city. أوكي يعني مكان فيه عالم فيه places. أوكي and someone asks you سألكم سؤال إنه وين هذا المحل، فكيف إنه أنتم بتجاوبوه؟ Okay, how would you give them the directions? هلا مثلا لو جاي قال if I don't know the place, I would say I don't know and try to ask another person. Try to ask another person because I don't know. Good. So this is one possible answer from Hussein, for example. What other people said? Yes, Fatima, by the street name. You can use street name. Okay, this is another thing you can use. Um, yes, okay, so using street names, we call them landmarks. We use landmarks. And no, so Ibrahim, yes, انت كتبت legend, so this is not yes, Fatima, go across this line whether by using the phone or the internet. Okay, good. Go turn left, turn right, yes, you can say turn left, turn right. Good. Yeah, that's the point. So we can give them directions in different ways. We can use our mobile phones, we can use the internet, we can use, for example, distances, as Fatima said, using kilometers or miles. We can use directions like north, west, east, south. And we can say, I don't know, as simple as that. Try to ask another person. So we have different ways of giving directions. Great, good. If you go to question 2, guys, now, sometimes you might ask, how can I get to the post office? What if a person doesn't know the answer? What might he or she do? Of course, guys, here when I say, how can I get to the post office, it's not just the post office. You can say, or you can add here any place. But this is an example. Okay, so how can I get to a specific place? How can I get to the post office? What if a person doesn't know the answer? What might he or she do? I think Lujane answered this question. If you don't know the answer, you say, I don't know. Do you say, I don't know, ask another person, or no? You give them the direction even if it is wrong. What do you think? Do you give the directions even if it is wrong, or you say, I don't know, ask another person? Oh, good. So try to ask another person. You don't give. So yeah, that's the point. Good. طيب ليش الشوام هيك طالع عليهم انه صيد بيدلوا خطأ؟ طيب يا اخي قلنا انه انتم قولوا لنا انه انا ما بعرف هذا المكان. قال حدا ثاني لا الا بده يدلك. بده يدلك وخلص صح ولا خطأ انا ما لي علاقة. ليه هيك؟ طيب يعني خلاص يعني ثبت يعني هون القصة يعني يشهد حتى المصريين السيم ثينج. هلا ممكن يكون هذا الشيء له علاقة بكبر المدينة مثلا أو هيك شيء بما أنه كثيرة يعني المدينة that's why they make mistakes. يا فأصلا ما بيقولوا ما بعرف يا طب يقولوا إنه سأل حدا ثاني. yes قولوا بالكم يا شباب قولوا بالكم. yes ما في حدا شامي هون شباب معقول؟ yes اوكي ماريا ممكن انه ساكنين بالمدينة ما طبعا هلا هو just joking عم نمزح يعني هلا ممكن يكون لانه المدينة كبيرة مثلا فبيكون انه كل شخص يعني يعني ممكن تسألوا انتم شخص عن مكان معين فيقولكم انه بدكم تروحوا من طريق من هذا الطريق. ممكن تسألوا شخص يقولكم بدكم تروحوا من غير طريق بس نفس الفكرة انه بتوديكم على نفس المحل بس انه عدت يعني مسالك. اوكي ممكن لانه المدينة كبيرة مثلا هلا يعني هلا هي الفكرة. انا بتذكر مرة رحت كمان كنت عم بسأل على كلية الهندسة المدني فرحت لهونيك يعني سأل شخص قال لي انه بدك يعني تاخذ مبلغ نسيت شو اسمه المترو والله في شو كان حدا يتذكرها برامتي يمكن أو هيك شيء. المهم أخذت ولفينا برامتي طبعا ضلينا ساعة عم نلف فيه للمترو وهيك حتى وصلنا، وبالأخير سألت عم طلع محل ما يعني لو كنت ماشي مشغول 10 دقايق كنت وصلت للمكان، فكان جنبي بس إنه دلوني بالطريق الثاني. فهيك بيصير. فيمكن لو سألنا حدا ثاني أوكي فممكن يدلني إنه مثلا روح من هذا الطرف. that's the point. من حلب آية. يا ف that ممكن يس. فغلط ما بنعرف يعني إذا هاي منطقته هي كانت ولا أي. يعني الفكرة إنه لازم معناها نسأل أكثر من حدا ثاني مرة إذا الموضوع على محل. Yeah. So that's the point. Right, guys. Yeah, that's the point. But if you go to now question number 3. Now, how can body language help you in getting around the community? How can body language help you in getting around the community? Do you know body language? Body language, yes, good, exactly, good. So this is when you use, yeah, great guys. This is when you use, for example, some gestures. You use your hand, you use your head, your arm, just to express as a way of expressing something. So you use your body as a way of expressing something. This is especially because when you don't understand the language. Okay, so if you don't understand the language, you need to use the body language to express what you want to say, for example. This is especially when you don't know the language, and sometimes you can use it just to know directions. Some people don't speak, just they use their arm, their hand to point to a place, and then you can go to that place. Okay, so they use their arm movement, they use some movement. Yeah, this is especially for tourists. هلا حتى بغير يعني انا ذكرت موقف حتى كثير بالمواصلات بنستخدمها لما بيكون مثلا المترو ماشي عندي وما بدنا يعني ما بدي اوقف يعني على الماشي وانتم بدكم تقولوا له مثلا انه تستخدموا اصبعكم انه هيك بالدور انه على اللفه انه راح تنزل مثلا على الدوار ولا راح تلف على اليمين ولا على اليسار. اوكي، فهو على الماشي وانتم عم تقشوا بايدكم لانه اكيد اذا حكيتوا ما راح يسمعكم. تمام؟ ف يعني تقريبا نفس الشيء نفس الفكره انه we use the body language. This is body language. You use your hand to talk, to communicate with that person. يعني انتوا استخدمتوا ايدكم وعم يعني تستخدموا اصبعكم وعم بتلفوها بشكل دائري. شو معناتها؟ كأنه عم تتواصلوا مع الشخص اللي قدامكم انه هون انا بدك تنزل مثلا على الدوار او من هذا الطريق، فمن دون ما يسمعكم عن طريق الاشاره اوكي body language he can understand you. طبعا هي اذا كان هذا في من ما بفهم بيوقف بده يحكي بده يحكي ليفهم منك حتى يعني sometimes I mean. Okay guys, so now let's have now vocabulary guys before we go. طبعا شايفين الأسئلة اللي جاوبها رح النص رح يرجع عليهم ورح نشوف كيف وجهة نظرهم هن. Okay, how do people give directions if a person doesn't know the answer? What do they say? And how can body language help you in getting around the community? Now we have got some vocabulary, some new words. Let's try to study these words before we go to the reading, because we are going to see them in the reading text. So it's better to understand and try to know the definitions of these words and try to pronounce them as well. Now let's start with the first one, nouns. We have advantages. Advantages. Now what does it mean, advantages, guys? Is it like about positive or negative points? We talked about that last time. Positive points or negative points? Advantages, what do you think? Oh no, good. Yes, positive point. Excellent. Yeah. طبعا يعني ما تعبوا حالكم تكتبوا الكلمة positive، خلاص بكفي الحرف الأول أول حرف. بس ما تعبوا أصابعكم هيك. يعني. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We have tourists. We have tourists. Now, what does it mean, guys, tourists? You know what, this is, I think, very simple. Well, when we say yes, visitors to another place. Okay. Like tourist people who are traveling to another place. Yeah, but just for the sake of entertainment. Yeah. Not anyone who travels to a country is a tourist. Okay, not anyone who travels to another country is a tourist. Maybe he is called a traveler. But if you travel to another country to the sake of entertainment and pleasure, we say that you are a tourist. Okay, فالتورست اللي فقط للانترتينمنت and pleasure، مش انك تروح تشتغل او تدرس او شيء. It's like tourism, okay? It comes from tourism, so we say tourists. People who are traveling to another place for the sake of entertainment and enjoyment. Now, when it comes to travelers, this is anyone who travels to another place. So anyone who travels to another country, another place is called a traveler, or a person who travels a lot. So we call them travelers. Now, the countryside, what does it mean? The country, you remember last time we talked about the difference between village, town, and city. And we said the village is like the countryside. Village or countryside, the same. Okay? طبعا هذول الكلمات أنا كاتبهم أوكي ومشروحين يعني إذا أورجيكم just this one. So here we have the nouns. طبعا في كلمات أنا ضايفهم عليهم من النص. فكل شيء كلمات جديدة موجودين هون. Fatima, rural area. So we can say rural area. Rural area. Yeah, it's the village. We said the village is situated in a rural area, and this is the same as the countryside, the same thing. Okay, now we have the flat lands. Flat lands. What does it mean? Flat lands. Now, just you can divide. If you divide the words the word into two words, we have flat and land. So, as the name suggests, land, okay, is like a place which is flat. You know, flat like this. This is flat in a straight line, not like this. So there are no mountains, no hills. You know, mountains and hills. No mountains, no hills, so it is a flat land. Yeah, level. Next one we have gestures. Gestures. What does it mean? Gestures. Any suggestions? Gestures. Now guys, I mean gestures is related to body language. Because when you use your body language, you have to use gestures. So gestures means movements by your hand, by your head, by your arm, as a way of expressing something. So gestures, movements. Movements of head, movements of hand, of arm, etc. And gestures. gestures, gestures. Okay, هون كأنه عم نوزع gestures, gestures. Now we have motions, motions, motions. Now motions again means movements, the same as the next one. Yeah, same as the next one. Motions or movements, 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 motions. Okay, so these are called what? Nouns. Now when it comes to verbs, we have find out. What does it mean, guys? Find out. Find out, yeah. Any suggestion about, yes, how can we say it in English, guys? How can we say it in English? Yeah, excellent, Fatima. To discover or find out, to discover something. Great. Measure. كمان هنا عم نلحظ إذا بتلاحظوا S U R E measure, measure. So what does it mean, measure, guys? In English, how can we say that? بعرف تعرفوا بالعربي، كيف ممكن نقولها بالإنجليش؟ Yes, طبعا هلا نحن هون عم ناخذ كفعل. اوكي هلا لو كانت هلا كلمة measure measurement. اوكي measurement هي ممكن انا اقول عنها size. اما to measure بس انا فيني اضيف لها to find out the size. يعني انا وقت عم اقول to find out the size انه اكتشف الحجم، معناتها انا عم بقيس، يعني بدي اقيس لاكتشف الحجم. فانا فيني اقول measure كفعل، كيف ممكن اترجمها؟ to find out the size or to discover the size. How can I discover the size or find out the size? By measuring. Okay, so this is how we do that. Again guys, here we have motion. Motion. طبعا إذا بتلاحظوا هون motion كانت كاسم ونحن قلنا إنه هي movements. طيب لما بتيجي كفعل كيف بترجمها؟ ما بقول عنها movement أكيد. So motion كيف بدها تصير؟ Any suggestions? To move, yes, excellent, Fatima. To move or to make movements. Okay, so to move or to make movements. So again, I have to say to make movements. To move or to make movements. To move or to make movements. That's the point. Okay, guys. So الفكرة إنه أنا عم بضيف to المصدرية، عم بضيف to المصدرية لحتى تصير كفعل. طيب excellent. Next one guys, we have gesture. Gestures نحن قلنا إنه هي movements by hand or head or arm. طيب كيف بدها تصير كفعل أترجمها gesture؟ كمان بدي أضيف عليها to المصدرية، فأنا بقول to move your hand مثلا etc. as a way of expressing something. So to move your hand as a way of expressing something. This is movement. Sorry, this is gesture as a verb. As a noun, we say movement by hand, by arm, etc. عرفت الفكرة شباب؟ يعني أنا بدي أنتبه لما بتكون الكلمة فعل أو اسم كثير، هذا اللي بيفيد بالترجمة. أوكي طيب lead. What about lead? lead. هلا هون كما هي كفعلها جاية كفعل مو كاسم. Okay, no problem, Fatima. So lead means to guide. To guide or guide. This is lead. هلا انت اذا جاي انت قائد هنسميه leader. Leader هي اسم. But now we have lead, it means to guide someone to a specific place. Guess, you know guess. We know guessing, yeah, this is guess. Guess, to try to guess something, to try to think and find out an answer to something without having all the facts. So you need to think and find an answer, but you don't have all the facts. So this is guessing. Now when it comes to adjectives, we have confused. You know confused, the meaning of confused. Yes, the meaning of confused. Don't know. Yes, when you can't think. Confused means when you can't think clearly, when you are not able to think in a good way, so you are confused. Flat, you know flat, I told you, flat, it means no mountains. Yes, okay, good, Julie. So we say the tour guide. The tour guide leads the people through the city. Excellent. The tour guide leads the people through the city. فهلا flat نحن قلنا no mountains, no mountains, no curves. Okay, it's like flat. Impolite, this is the opposite of polite. The opposite of polite, rude. We can say rude. Now when it comes to adverbs, we have straight. Again guys, straight means like this, in a straight line. In a straight line, no mountains, no hills. You know mountains and hills? No. In a straight line, this one. Seldom and rarely have the same meaning. Seldom and rarely have the same meaning, which means not often. Not often. Not often. Seldom or rarely يكون له نفس المعنى انه نادرا ما بيصير هذا الشيء. Not often. But and we have some phrases. Ask for directions. طبعا هدول الفريزز كلهم كمان موجودين بالنص. Ask for directions. The American Midwest, sense of direction. You know, sense of directions. This is when you know how to go to a place. When you know the ability, okay, to know how to go to other places. We say you have a sense of direction. You are skillful with directions. Get lost, have a good time, body language, facial expressions. You know facial expressions. This is as a way of body language. We use it in body language. To use your face, okay, to make movements by your face to express an idea or to say something, to communicate to other people. So to use your face movements to communicate with other people. This is what we mean by facial expression. Okay guys, any questions? All of them are clear because they are very important. We are going to find them in the text now. Now before we go into the text, guys, I need now some students to read some of these words. So I'm going now to read nouns, and then I need a person to repeat the nouns again. So I'll start with that. Pay attention to pronunciation. Advantages, advantages. Tourists, tourists. Travelers, travelers. The countryside, the countryside. The flat lands, flat lands. Gestures, gestures. Motions, motions. Movements, movements. Okay guys, who's going to do that? Okay, Maria, let's try to read the first one.
Advantages, tourist, traveler, the countryside, the flat land, gestures, motions, movement.
Gestures, gestures, motions, movement. Yes, gestures, Maria, gestures. Okay, thank you very much, Maria. Excellent. Thanks a lot. So, now let's go to the second one. Verbs. Find out, find out, find out. Measure, measure. Motion, gesture. Lead, guess. Okay, Noor, let's try.
Find out, measure, motion, gesture, read, guesses.
Okay, Noor, guess. Okay, Noor, guess.
Guess.
And the second one, not measure.
Measure. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Excellent, Noor. So, يعني الجاء هون مرة أولى الجاء مثل الجاء هيك جاء measure. But good, excellent. Thank you very much, Noor. Next one we have an adjective: confused, flat, impolite. Confused, flat, impolite. Yes, we have Jude.
Confused, flat, impolite. Good.
Yes, thank you very much, Jude. Another one, we have adverbs. We have straight, seldom, rarely. Straight, seldom, rarely. We're going to read, continue Jude reading.
Straight, seldom, rarely.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Aya, the last one, phrases now, Aya. Ask for directions, the American Midwest, a sense of direction, get lost, have a good time, body language, facial expressions. Facial expressions. Okay, let's read. Yes, all of them. Yeah, very simple. Okay, try.
Ask for the justification, the medical Midwest science offers direction, get lost, have a good time, body,
Language.
Guys, I am sorry. First is
facial, expression. ايوه هي thank you very much. اوكي هلا نحن دائما لما بنشوف كلمة صعبة شوي بنحاول يعني نجزئها اوكي لأكثر من جزء، لأكثر من مقطع. يعني أنا مثلا شفت الكلمة طويلة هون فأنا عندي ما بعرف أوصفها، بحاول أهجيها يعني expressions you see ثلاث مقاطع expressions facial expressions. So thank you very much, excellent, thanks a lot. Okay, so these are the words that we are going to see now in the text. Let's see. Yes. No problem. Okay. ليش أنا بخوف؟ بس عندي حسنة بالثبتي. هلا هي يعني بس بدها فكرة ممارسة. يس ما في مشكلة. يعني كل ما قرأنا أكثر كل ما تدربنا أكثر. يعني هلا كيف مثلا الشباب لما بيروحوا على النادي الحريري بيتدربوا، اوكي العضلة ما تكبر إلا إذا تدربت. نفس الشيء اللسان، يعني اللسان اوكي لما أنا بقرأ كثير بيتدرب على طريقة اللفظ، اوكي فكل ما تدربنا أكثر كل ما أخذ الشكل المناسب لهدول الأحرف الإنجليزية. فنقطة كان هي بس إنه هاي طولي بالك جوز عادي متحمسة زيادة اليوم. I'm going first of all أنا رح أقرأ أول شيء النص، أوكي نشوف شو الأفكار، بعدها رح أعطيكم فرصة تقرأوا أكيد. الفكرة قبل ما نبلش بالنص. The text is about how can I get to the post office. طبعا هذا العنوان مو بس إنه يعني بيشمل بس البوست اوفيس، هو بيشمل كل الأماكن، بس كمثال حاطين لكم البوست اوفيس. Okay, how can I get to the post office? But we can change the place, we can have another place. But now just guys, so do we have structure in the text? So we have how do people in different places give directions. And if you don't know the place, for example, what might you do? And how can body language help you in getting around the community? So we're going to answer these questions in the text. Let's do the things to explain. Now, how can I get to the post office? I told you, any place. Before we start, guys, now I want you just to tell me how graphs do we have here? How many paragraphs do we have? You see, this is the reading text. How many paragraphs do we have? You can tell me. How many paragraphs? Yes, excellent, James and Noor. Yes, so we have several. We need to look at these letters. Yes, we use A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So 7 paragraphs for each one, for this reading material. Okay, now I told you the first one is an introduction and the last one is like a conclusion. But now the first one. I have a special rule to travel. Never carry a map. I prefer to ask for directions. Sometimes I get lost, but I usually have a good time. And there are some other advantages. I can practice a new language, meet new people, learn new customs and the like. I can find out about different kinds of directions every time I ask, how can I get to the post office? Here are some illustrations of those differences. Okay guys, now what do we have here? It's like an introduction, this paragraph, okay, so we can write it's like an intro. Intro means an introduction. introduce the topic of this reading material. So we said, I have a special rule, never carry a map, but I prefer to ask for directions. So this is what they advise us, to ask for directions. So this is the topic of this reading material, to ask for directions. Now, why? Because we have a lot of advantages when you ask for directions, when you don't use a map. Some of the advantages are that you can practice a new language. If you travel, for example, to London, let's say, your native language is Arabic, but you travel to London where they speak English, so if you use your map, you won't learn the language. But if you ask some people about directions, you will use the language, and in this way, you will learn the language. So, and again, you will meet new people, you will learn new customs, traditions, and the like. So here they said it's better to speak to people than to use the map. Okay? Now I can find out about different styles of directions. Every time I ask how can I get to the post office. So we have different styles of directions. Here we are talking about styles. Here means ways. We have different ways of directions. So sometimes you might ask a person about the direction of a place. So he or she will give you the direction in a specific way. If you ask another person, they might give you the same answer but in a different way. So when you ask people for directions, you learn these ways, you learn these different styles, okay? And that's why it's advantages. So here are some illustrations. What does it mean, some illustrations of those differences? Illustrations here means explanations. Now, in the following paragraphs, the writer is going to explain what he means by different styles of directions. Okay? Now, if we go to the second one. Tourists are often confused in Japan. Now he's talking about Japan. So they said, like, tourists, when they are in Japan, are confused. Why? That's because most streets there don't have names. So they don't have names for their streets. يعني مثل عندنا نحن مثلا بحلب مثلا في الفرقان، في الموجمبو مثلا، بالشام مثلا في المهاجرين، في برام، في هالقصص. أسماء مثلا مناطق أو أسماء شوارع، بس مثلا عندهم they don't have names of streets. Outside big cities, so بهالحالة شو رح يعملوا؟ Outside big cities, people most often use landmarks in their direction. So this is the first way, the first sign. They use what? They use landmarks in their directions. Now what does it mean, landmark? I put it here. Landmark, it's like a building or anything, not just building. As an example, a building that you can see from a distance and help you to know where you are. Okay, so it's maybe a mall, a big mall. You can see the mall, you can pass the mall, you can go after the mall, you can turn at the corner of the mall, etc. So these are landmarks. Big buildings, a new mall, a street, something like that. So we use what? Landmarks. This is the point. So landmarks is the first one. يعني مثل نقاط علامة، okay? يعني مثل أنتوا إذا بدكم تدلوا حدا فبتقولوا له مثلا إنه شفت مثلا هذا المول بدك تقطعه مثلا بعده ب50 متر أو هالقصة، okay? So في عندي أنا علامات، بما إنه ما في اسم للشارع فما فيني أنا أستخدم اسم الشارع، فبدي أستخدم landmark. So this is the first one. So for example, the Japanese might tell travelers something like this. So they give us an example. Go straight down to the corner. Turn left at the big hotel. for the sushi bar and go past the fruit market. The post office is across from the bus stop, next to the fast food fried chicken place. Okay guys, now if you read now these three lines, okay, here we have landmarks. Now who can give me or who can tell me what the landmarks are in these three sentences or in these three lines? Where are the landmarks? Just highlight or underline the landmarks in these three lines. So what do you think? What is the first landmark? Yes, excellent, Noor, big hotel. So there is like a big hotel, and what else? A sushi bar, excellent, this is another one. يعني هدول نقاط علامة أماكن مثلا أنا ما عم بذكر أسماء شوارع. There is like a big hotel, there is a sushi bar, and the fruit market. We have the bus stop, and we have the fast food fried chicken place. Excellent guys. طبعا البوست اوفيس هو المكان انا اللي بدي اروح عليه فما بذكره. فهدول كلهم اللي حطيت تحت الخط يعتبروا هن landmarks because there are no street names. So we use landmarks. This is in Japan. طبعا في مصطلحات كثير حلوة لازم نتعلمها. مثلا انا بدي استخدم الاتجاهات. So we say go straight مثلا. Because this is a very common question that someone asks you, for example, where is the place of the mall? Where is the place of the post office? Where is the place of the university? The place of the school? So this is a common question to be asked about direction. So we need to learn some words that help us in this context. So we can say go straight, turn left, turn right. Here we have go past. Do you know the meaning of go past? Go past the fruit market. What does it mean? Go past the fruit market. Is any suggestions? Go past the fruit market. هلا go past هي مثل بمعنى انه قطعت الفروت ماركت. قطع الفروت ماركت يعني عدي، اوكي، عدي من الفروت ماركت وخليك مكمل دغري مثلا، قطعه، اوكي. Go past. This is the meaning of go past. Got it? The fruit market. And here we have the post office is across from. شو معناتها across from؟ هذول المصطلحات كثير احفظوا لي اياهم لانه كثير بيفيدوا بالاتجاهات، وهذا سؤال كثير بنسأل عليه. So شو معناتها the post office is across from؟ Okay, هلا across from means opposite. يعني مقابل، opposite. So the post office is opposite to the opposite the bus stop. مقابل يعني across from. تمام؟ هلا next to شو معناتها؟ Next to the fast food fried chicken place. Next to means beside. Okay? Beside. طبعا أنا حطيت لكم يعني هذا الشيء هون بالword document. So we have across from, opposite, next to, beside. Yeah, something like this. Okay, I need to study these things. So this is in Japan. Okay guys, in Japan they use landmarks. This is the first one. The first sign. قلنا في عندنا signs of directions. This is the first sign. Another example, another paragraph. In the United States, people might give directions in different ways according to their region or community. They have another way. As an example, in the countryside of the American Midwest, there are not usually many landmarks. So there are not many landmarks. If there are no landmarks, so there are no mountains, so the land is very flat. In many places, there are no towns or buildings for miles. So instead of marks, instead of landmarks, residents of the flatlands will tell you directions and distances. So this is the second style. Directions and distances. طبعا شو معناتها directions؟ Directions هنا أنا لما بقصد فيهم north, west, east, south. These are called directions. North, west, south, east. So these are called directions. Distances like 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 1 kilometer. So these are called distances. So what they don't have landmarks. So instead of landmarks, they use what? Directions and distances. Do you know the meaning of residence, guys? Residence. The meaning of residence. What's the meaning of residence? Residence, yes, any suggestions? It means like people, yes. People living in a specific place. Yes, excellent note. We can say inhabitants. We can say inhabitants. People living in a specific place. So are called residents. But we have an example. Look, in the states of Kansas or Iowa, for instance, people will say, go straight north to 2 miles. Go straight north to 2 miles. Turn right and then go another mile in a northwest direction. So look here, what do we have, guys? We have north, this is direction, and we have 2 miles, this is distance. So شفتوا كيف بيستخدموا directions with distances. ما استخدموا landmarks. إذا بتلاحظوا ما في عندنا landmarks بالexample. And then we have another mile and the northwest direction. This is in the United States. Okay, so they use directions and distances. Not all the United States. This is just they said in Kansas or Iowa. The next paragraph, on the other hand, people in Los Angeles, California, this is the same in the United States, but they have another way, another style. They have no idea of directions or distances on the map. So they don't use distances, they don't use directions on the map, they have no idea. Residents of this Pacific coast area almost always in their cars. So all of them, most of them have cars. So they measure distance in time. This is the third way. So they measure distance in time. Because why? Because they don't know anything about distances or directions. يعني ما بيستخدموا north, west, east, and they don't use distances 1 mile, 2 miles. Okay, they use just time. Why? Because most of them have cars. Look, we have example. هلا ممكن واحد يسأل إنه واحد يسأل مثلا how far away is the post office؟ ممكن مثلا إذا أنتم مثلا حدا من بيناتكم سأل شخص من هالمدينة مثلا how far away is the post office؟ فشو بيجاوبوا؟ Oh, I guess it's about 5 minutes from here. It's about 5 minutes from here, but where, I mean, where do I go? I don't know. They don't know, okay? So just I mean, walk or drive for 5 minutes and you will become there. يعني بس امشي. المهم امشي 5 دقائق, okay? ما بعرف بقى رحت على اليمين يسار, انت بس امشي 5 دقائق بتشوف البوست اوفيس. So we don't know. They don't know the direction. يعني حتى إذا سألتوهم شوفوا إذا كمل السؤال مثلا how many miles away is it or how many kilometers or blocks, they don't know, they rarely know or can seldom say. يعني ممكن حدا مثلا ب 5 minutes ممكن يمشي 1 كيلومتر, ممكن يمشي مثلا 50 متر. اوكي كل شخص هو وطريقة مشي. اوكي so يعني ما بيعطوكم anything about distance. So just time. You need like half an hour to reach to the post office. You need 15 minutes to go to university, but which direction should I go? Which direction should I use? They seldom say. Okay? Yes. طيب معناته صار في عندنا three things. The first one is the use of landmarks. The second one, using distances and directions. The third one is using time. Another European country of Greece do not even try to give directions. They don't give directions. That's because tourists seldom understand, they do not understand the Greek language. So you are from Syria, for example, you traveled to Greece and you want to ask for directions, they don't give you directions. Why? Because you don't understand the Greek language. So what do they do in this situation? Instead, a Greek may motion, gesture, or say, follow me. So this is the fourth one. So they go with you, follow me, then that person will lead you through the streets of a city to the post office. So he or she will go with you to show you the direction of this place. So this is another one. So we have four styles. We have four different styles of directions. You use landmarks, you use distances or directions, you use time, or you ask someone to go with you. They go with you to that place to show you the place. This is in Greek because they don't, or you don't understand their language. Now, if you go to F, now what if a person doesn't know the answer to your question about the location of a place? A New Yorker might say, sorry, I have no idea, and walk away quickly. So if you ask someone from New York, they will tell you, sorry, I have no idea, if they don't know the place. Okay, so if they don't know the place, they just tell you, sorry, I have no idea, and they walk quickly. But in Yucatan, Mexico, not many residents answer, I don't know. They don't answer, I don't know. Why? Because people in Yucatan may believe that a quick, I don't know is impolite. So if they said, I don't know to you, it's impolite, it's rude. So what do they do in this situation? They might stay and talk to you. And usually they try to give an answer, sometimes a wrong one. يعني خلط الشباب يعني ما عندهم مشكلة كثير متاحين مع حالهم. حتى لو أعطوه إجابة خطأ المهم بدهم يجاوبوك على سؤالك. So إذا سألتهم أنت مثلا كيف أنا بدي أروح لهالمحل ما بيقولوا لك I don't know. إذا ما بيعرفوا. يعني إذا ما بيعرفوا ما بيقولوا I don't know لأنه بيعتبروا هذا الشيء impolite. rude. فهن بيفضلوا إنه يحكوا معك ويعطوك إجابة حتى لو كانت خطأ. المهم هن الشباب كفوا يعني ما بيخجلوك ما بيقولوا لك I don't know. حتى لو كانت خطأ ما في مشكلة. المهم جاوبوك على سؤالك. Okay, so this is in Yucatan, Mexico, maybe. So a tourist without a good sense of direction can get very, very lost in this southern region. Now, the last one, G, one thing will help you everywhere, in Japan, the United States, Greece, Mexico, or any other place. you might not understand a person's words. So what do you do in this situation if you don't understand the language? You have to use body language. You can probably understand the body language. What does it mean, the body language? They said the facial expressions, gestures, motions, movements. He or she would usually turn and then point. Go in that direction and you will find the post office, maybe. So if you don't understand the language, you can use the body language in order to find your place, or the place you want to find. Okay guys, فبهذه الطريقة. Any question about this text؟ فمعناتها أنا عندي 4 ways، 4 steps. احنا كنا عم نشرح إنه the different landmarks in Japan because they don't have street names. In California is fine because they don't know anything about different directions or distances. In Greece, they go with you to find your direction. If they don't know the answer in Yucatan, they say they still, talk to you, even if they give you a wrong one. But in New York, they say, I have no idea. And if you don't understand the language, so you can use the body language. هلا تمام. هلا نحن ليش أنا كثير عم بركز على النص، يعني عم اشرحه وعم حاول إنه نحن نفهم الفكرة، لأنه بعد النص في كثير أسئلة عندكم وأسئلة دسمة يعني بالنسبة للنص، العلاقة بالمين ايدياز بالسبيسيفيك بوينتس، فكثير مهم نحن يعني ما بنحتاج نجاوب على هالأسئلة إذا ما كنا فهمانين النص منيح. طبعا هي كلها هالأسئلة تدريب على نفس نمط الإكسام، لهيك يعني درس القراءة عم ياخذ معنا وقت منيح. اوكي سو يعني ممكن ما نلحق نحل الأسئلة كمان حتى، فنركز على الدرس. هلا after we finish this one, I want you to read now the القراءة، يعني نركز على كيف نحن عم نلفظ أسئلة بعدنا في the first paragraph, and then I need someone to read after I read. So just look at the pronunciation. So Huda is going to read the first paragraph, but just listen to me first and then I give you the chance to read. Okay, how can I get to the post office? I have special rules to travel. Never carry a map. I prefer to ask for directions. Sometimes I get lost, but I usually have a good time. And there are some other advantages. I can practice a new language, meet new people, learn new customs and the like. I can find out about different styles of directions every time I ask, how can I get to the post office? Here are some illustrations of those differences. Okay, Huda, you can start first.
Hello, can you hear me? How can I get to the post office? I have a special rule for travel. Never carry a map. I prefer to ask for directions. Sometimes I get lost, but I usually have a good time. And there are some other advantages. I can practice a new language, meet new people. I can practice a new language. Meet new people.
Practice, not practice. Practice.
I can practice a new language, meet new people, learn new customs, and the like. I can find out about different styles of directions. Every time I ask, how can I get to the post office? Here are some illustrations for those differences.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. I like your reading. Excellent. Thanks a lot. Good. Now, the second paragraph, guys. Tourists are often confused in Japan. That's because those streets here or there don't have names. Outside big cities, people most often use landmarks in their directions. For example, the Japanese might tell travelers something like this: go straight down to the corner, turn left at the big hotel with a sushi bar, and go past the fruit market. The post office is across from the bus stop, next to the fast food fried chicken place. Let's see, Noor.
Tourists are often confused in Japan. That's because most streets they don't have names. Outside big cities, people most often use landmarks in their direction. For example, the Japanese might tell travelers something like this: go straight down to the corner, turn left at the big hotel with the sushi bar, and go past the fruit market. The post office is across from the bus stop next of the fast food fried chicken place.
Okay, excellent, Noor. Thank you very much. Excellent reading. Thanks, I like it very much. In the United States, people might have directions in different ways according to their region or community. As an example, in the countryside of the American Midwest, there are not usually many landmarks. There are no mountains, so that the land is very flat. In many places, there are no towns or buildings for miles. Instead of landmarks, residents of the flatlands will tell you directions and distances. In the states of Kansas or Iowa, for instance, people will say, go straight north for 2 miles, turn right, and then go another mile in the northern direction. Let's see Jude.
On the other hand, people in Los Angeles, California, have no idea.
No, you can see.
Sorry. In the United States, people may give direction in different ways according to their region or community. As an example, in the countryside of the American Midwest, there are not usually many landmarks. There are no mountains, so the land is very flat. In many places, there are no towns or buildings for mills. Instead, miles. Instead of landmarks, residents of the flatlands will tell you direction and distance. In the states of Kansas or Iowa, people will say go straight north for 2 miles, turn right, and then go another mile in the northeast direction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you very much. I like the reading. Now, just let's read the next chapter, the next paragraph, which is now, Lujane, you might have a problem with your computer, Lujane. Just go out and then come back, because there is like voice and okay. D. On the other hand, people in Los Angeles, California, have no idea of directions or distance on the map. Residents of this Pacific Coast area are almost always in their cars, so they measure distance in time. How far away is the post office, you ask? Oh, they might answer, I guess it's about 5 minutes from here. you say, yes, but how many miles away is it? Or how many kilometers or blocks? They rarely know or can seldom say. Okay, who's going other than نور مين كمان غير اللي قرأوه. هلا إذا ما في حدا وقع نرجع نعيد. Aya, would you like to read? Because you said you like reading. Yusuf, Hussein, Shahnaz. بدي من اللي ما قرأوا لسه إنه يحاولوا يقرأوا. Paragraph D. Yeah, guys. Yes. Anyone? Any volunteers? هاي هلا صارت تطلع بالسقف مشان ما نطلع عليها. Okay. Lujane, would you like to read, or you don't have mic, Yusuf? What about you, Shahnaz? Right. Let's see Noor again.
On the other hand, people in Los Angeles, California have no idea of direction or distance on the map. Residents of this Pacific Coast area are almost always in. How far away is, you ask? Oh, you might answer, I guess it is about 5 minutes from here. You ask, yes, but how many miles away is it? Or how many kilometers or blocks? They rarely know or can seldom say.
Yes, excellent. No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, Yusuf, no problem. Thanks a lot, Noor. Okay, let's go to paragraph E. Sometimes people in the European country of Greece do not even try to give directions. That's because tourists seldom understand the Greek language. Instead, a Greek may motion or gesture or say, follow me. Then that person will lead you through the streets of a city to the post office. Yes, so it's going to read E, guys. Another one. Do read E if you can. Yes, Jude, are you reading? Okay, no problem. We can okay, ask Huda then. Okay, Aya, let's see, Aya.
Sometimes people in the Yerevan county of Greece don't do not even try to get the direction that is because justice and freedom understand the Greek count incentive
the Greek language.
Greek by modern
Motion. Motion or gesture.
Motion or gesture. Or slowly than that prison will let it neutral from the started surface of
The
a
street, yes. The streets of a city.
City of city to the ghost of self.
Yes, thank you very much. Excellent, Aya. So you have some mistakes. Okay, you need just practice. Okay, just to master these letters, how we say the letters, how we pronounce the letters. Okay, but excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. يعني أنا بحب أو بقدر الأشخاص اللي بيحاولوا يعني بالعكس كثير حلو هذا الموضوع. أوكي، لأنه بهالطريقة نحن بنقوي حالنا فقط بالممارسة. يعني نحن أوكي ممكن نقول لحالنا إنه أنا بعرف بقرأ. أوكي، هلا أنا إذا سألت أي حدا ممكن يقول لي إيه أنا بعرف بقرأ، بس لما بنيجي على التطبيق بيختلف الوضع. مثل إذا أنا لما قلت بعرف بسوق سيارة، بس هذا الشيء مو معناته إنه خلص صح. ممكن وقت تيجي تسوق السيارة ما تعرف، بس كنظري يعني نظريا أنا بعرف، بس التطبيق أو العملي هو يكون فيه مشاكل. فهيك thank you very much آية for your courage to read. Okay, because you are a brave person. Okay, the last now paragraph. Not the last paragraph. The person doesn't know the answer to your question about the location of a place. A New Yorker might say, sorry, I have no idea, and walk away quickly, but in Yucatan, Mexico, not many residents answer, I don't know. People in Yucatan may believe that a quick I don't know is impolite. They might say and talk to you, and usually they try to give an answer, sometimes a wrong one. A tourist without a good sense of direction can get very, very lost in the southern region. So let's see Huda.
What if a person doesn't know the answer to your question about the location of a place? A New Yorker may say, sorry, I have no idea, and walk away quickly. But in Yucatan, Mexico, not many residents answer, I don't know. People in Yucatan may believe that a quickly I don't know is impolite. They need to stay and talk to you, and usually they will try to give an answer. Sometimes a wrong one. A tourist without a good sense of direction can get very, very lost in the southern region.
Okay, thank you very much. Excellent, Huda. Thanks a lot. Now the last paragraph, one thing will help you everywhere in Japan, the United States, Greece, Mexico, or any other place. You might not understand the person's words, but you can probably understand the body language, the facial expressions, gestures, motions, movements. He or she will usually turn and then point, go in that direction, and you will find the post office, maybe. Okay, dude, I'll give you another try.
One thing will help you everywhere in Japan, the United States, Greek, Mexico, or any other place. You may not understand personal words, but you can probably understand the body language, the facial expression, gesture, motion, movement, gesture, motion, movement. He or she will usually turn and then point go in that direction, and you'll find the post office, maybe.
Okay, yeah, excellent. Thank you very much, Jules, for this nice reading. Excellent, guys. Actually, I'm very happy with your participation. Okay, I'm really happy with your participation, and I can see now, I can feel that your language now is improving. Your reading is improving. Your reading skill is improving. I can really feel that. Excellent. So guys, we're gonna stop here today. But for next time, I want you to, before we do the question, because we haven't done the questions now, I leave it for next time, for next session. So try to read the text before the session, just to remember the text, and then so that we can answer the questions about that. Okay? هلا أول شيء كل عام وأنتم بخير بمناسبة عيد الفطر السعيد اللي راح يكون إن شاء الله يوم الخميس. اوكي لهيك ما رح نعمل جلسة يوم الخميس بما انه اول يوم عيد، فرح يكون عندنا اوف عطلة. اوكي فبنأجل نحن درسنا او المحاضرة تبعتنا ليوم الاحد القادم. اوكي بنأجلها ليوم الاحد القادم وبنبلش بحل الاسئلة النص مباشرة. تمام؟ بس يعني مثل ما قلت لكم بتمنى انه قبل الجلسة تحاولوا تقرأوا النص لتسترجعوا الافكار تبعته لحتى نحسن نحل الاسئلة، لانه الاسئلة تعتمد بشكل كبير على الافكار. Okay, thank you very much guys for this nice session, and have a nice Eid. Okay, and have a nice weekend and a nice holiday. Thank you very much for listening and attending, and see you next time on Sunday next week. Stay safe. Love you so much guys. Have a nice night. Bye bye.